I know what you're really here for.
It's cute, though.
Yes, Netflix's latest comedy series with a pretty big cast has just launched. Get it? Launched? Oh god, just kill me. And Think Story is back for a deep dive into the ending, so strap yourselves in because here we go. The last episode begins with the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the heads of the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Space Force, and yes, even the Coast Guard.
Hey guys,
What are you doing?
Get out!
no Coast Guard! Oh, come on, man.
They need to retaliate against the Chinese after the American flag was so disrespectfully run over. You'd think the president would be involved in a meeting which could escalate tensions between two superpowers, but the show purposely refrains from showing the president and even the first lady. That's because the show hints that the president in this world is Donald Trump, dropping some not so subtle clues throughout the season, like how he doesn't believe in climate change.
Do we have any missions ready to launch?
The climate orbiter.
Not that.
Why not? It's ready to go.
You know why.
Tweets when he gets angry,
POTUS is pissed. I'm going to his birthday party right now. Expect a nuke storm on Twitter.
or how he texts Mark that sex is only for winners.
We're gonna keep winning and winning and winning.
Heck, even the Space Force itself was established by the president in 2019. In an effort to find ways to design a proportionate response, Mark Naird, the head of Space Force, has tasked his media manager, Tony Scarapaducci, with putting together a focus group. And it's no coincidence that Tony's character is a satire of Tony Scaramucci, Trump's former communications director who lasted only 10 days on the job. The show plays a lot with character names, some more subtle than others. For example, in episode 3, we learn this young congresswoman from New York, Annabel Isidro Campos, or AYC for short, is a take on the real-life congresswoman from New York, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Even Mark's Air Force antagonist, Kik Grabiston, has a name worthy of his misogynist character, Grab Ass Ton.
No panty lines on the angry young congresswoman.
So this focus group comes up with some amazing ideas, like TPing the Chinese rocket or writing China sucks on the side of their base. Meanwhile, Mark's daughter Erin has defaced Kelly's car. She doesn't like how this new woman has come into her father's life and could potentially take away the only person she has left. With her mother in jail and her father's time consumed by work, Erin feels abandoned.
40 seconds.
What?
I got 40 seconds with my father.
So she does what many teens do when feeling neglected by their parents. She lashes out. She gets fired from her job for being drunk and later joins a group of random strangers to head out to a party. But we'll get to that in a bit. We get an image of the luxurious Chinese base. The Chinese are the main external threat of Space Force throughout the season, and always seem to be one step ahead of Mark and the Americans. In episode 1, they even cut the solar panels off the new American satellite, which some may think is an even greater act of aggression than running over the flag. Dr. Adrian Mallory, the head scientist at Space Force, pleads with Mark to de-escalate. They've just named the site where the Americans landed the Plains of Mallory, and he'd hate it to be the site of the moon's first atrocity. But behind Mallory's back, Mark informs Captain Ali that their ship has secretly stored a cache of guns, and when Mallory hears about this, he quits. He was told they didn't have room for toothbrushes, let alone a half-dozen guns. Mallory's abrupt departure means Dr. Chan Kaifang takes over command. He calls Captain Ali to cheer her up. You can tell the writers have been trying to establish a romantic relationship between these two, pairing them up in several storylines throughout the season, like Chan teaching Ali about botany or him driving her to Denver to get an eye exam. Earlier in the season, Chan even talks about how he's part of a Facebook group for Asian men and black women interested in dating each other. He says that even though it's the least likely couple combination you'd find, they have the highest success of staying together. Now that she's on the moon and he's on Earth, it will be interesting to see how this relationship blooms next season. At home, the thought of sending his soldiers to battle weighs heavily on Mark.
What if I don't know what the right thing to do is?
But you do.
That's because Mark, even though he's a general of an armed force, a force with the power to kill, always thinks of the people that are under him. This is beautifully indicated in episode 3 when Mark explains why an orange costs $10,000 to fly to the moon.
One thing you learn in the military is that money doesn't matter. People matter.
Someone who is putting their life on the line in the pursuit of knowledge and the betterment of mankind should be allowed this simple luxury of an orange. Mark's care for others not only applies to his work, but to his family. He cares deeply about his wife and daughter. When he has a conjugal visit with his wife, who suggests they have an open relationship, he's against it. The only one for him is his wife, and he'll wait however long it takes to be with her.
Because I would wait for you forever. Because that is what I signed on for when we got married.
And even though he's not always there for his daughter, you know that he cares about her. After going 48 hours with no rest at work, Mark comes home and helps his daughter with her math homework. He's exhausted, but he's there for her. He may not always be, but he makes the effort. Mark's conversation with Kelly has inspired him to do the right thing. He's going to disobey the direct order from the Secretary of Defense and not retaliate against the Chinese. But to defy this order, he'll need Doc's help, who is more than willing to undertake this treasonous act. Meanwhile, Aaron gets in the back of a stranger's truck to head off to a party. But notice here there's a fun Easter egg in the background, this missing person poster. Emmett Bunton is the guy all the way from episode 1 who Mark arrested, stored in his trunk, and put in jail. I guess they haven't let him out yet. Duncan here informs Mark that the Secretary of Defense is on the line. Duncan has been a potential romantic relationship for Mark's daughter, but nothing much seems to happen there this season, largely due in part to Aaron dating Yuri, the Russian who is obviously dating her to get closer to Mark and steal state secrets.
I must break you.
The show also portrays characters from the South as glaring stereotypes of uneducated, God-fearing, Bible-thumping idiots. Duncan, who has a heart of gold and actually tries to win over Aaron by making an effort to read, is put down when she finds out he's been reading conspiracy websites. I think the show missed a great opportunity to teach Aaron that you can't judge a book by its cover. Not all Southerners are gun-toting flat-earthers who are anti-vaccination.
On this majestic, flat Earth of ours.
They could have done a whole arc revealing Aaron's own bias and prejudice through the character of Duncan, where she realizes there is good in the side she has ostracized and has ostracized her. All Aaron does when she arrives in Wild Horse, Colorado is complain about the people. They're backward, ride dirt bikes, and aren't cool and progressive like her friends in DC. Maybe if she put in some effort, she may find things aren't always what they seem, and she'd learn and grow as a character. Aaron is taken to the middle of nowhere to find the party she was invited to is a crack party.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
In the command center, Mark tells Captain Ali to disarm the weapons, rendering them useless. He makes an impassioned speech about how easily people forget about the mistakes of the past, leaving them susceptible to repeat the same mistakes over and over.
Forget how bad polio was. People stop taking vaccines. Forget how bad world wars are. People start puffing out their chests.
At the same time, Kit Grabiston, who is the head of the Air Force, has descended upon Space Force to take control. He's stopped by Duncan, who asks to see his ID card, a callback to episode 1 where he wouldn't let Dr. Mallory in because he didn't have his. Pushing Duncan aside, Grabiston orders Mark to go through with the attack, but it's too late. All the weapons have been disarmed. So Grabiston has Mark arrested for treason and orders the spacemen to attack the Chinese with wrenches. Aaron calls her dad, who surprisingly still is able to have a phone conversation when he's tied up. He can't be there for her, but this time it's because he actually can't. Now Aaron will have to deal with having 2 parents in jail. She even calls Duncan and her mom. Duncan's tied up and her mom is in jail. Aaron was right. She's totally alone when she needs people now more than ever. Aaron will need to learn to do things on her own. She won't always have her parents, so she grabs a bike and takes off. Dr. Mallory is arrested too, and Mark uses his lighter to escape. Good thing, because as Aaron escapes, she's chased down by the crackheads on dirt bikes, but Mark is there to save her. He's commandeered a chopper which scares them off. And if things couldn't get any more unbelievable, Mark finds his wife in the desert having escaped from prison. She was able to escape with the help from a prison guard, Louise, who she has a romantic relationship with. Things on the moon have also taken a turn. The spacemen have disabled the oxygen of the Chinese base and rendered it uninhabitable, but upon returning to their own base, they found it's been trashed. This gives off the impression that they're stranded, but it seems as though their rocket is still intact. My guess for season 2 is that they have to come back to Earth, and much of that plot will deal with starting a new base before the Chinese. One of the plot points that's not entirely explored but could drastically shape next season is the drilling on the moon. In episode 9, we learn that the Chinese are mining a substance known as helium-3, or H3 for short. Scientists have speculated that this material could be a source for future energy, but that still leaves us with Mark. If he goes back to Space Force, he'll be court-martialed. He's aiding his wife, a convicted felon, in her escape. escape. It seems the only way out for Mark is if he gets some sort of presidential pardon. But knowing how wacky this show can sometimes get, who knows what surprises await us next season. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'm always coming out with new content. You can also follow me on Twitter @ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.